head out to a quick trail run. It's 9 o'clock already. The forest trail system we go into, it's just all pretty much exposed dirt roads, so it gets super hot super quick. So not gonna do anything too long, probably like 5-6 miles, and just get out of there before it's too hot. So we'll do 1,000 in each. I'll do 1,000 before I go, or 500 before I go, so that's 1,500. Plus if I do, I use gels. Oh, pretty low sodium actually, 20 milligrams. Left over from the race. These are good though, I like these. Got my change of clothes because we're in Florida, it's already a heat advisory. It's been feeling like real feel like 109, 105, like already at like noontime. So just tons of sweat, like my sneakers come back completely soaked. Feels really good. And I feel like I've adapted to the heat pretty well already because it doesn't really affect me that much, but your heart rate just gets jacked. So pretty easy to slip out of zone 2 if you're not careful. With all that sweat loss, you're replacing your electrolytes. Ooh, it gets pretty hot out there. By far the worst part during the race, filling up these things. You gotta put your shit down. I don't remember how this goes. Oh, there you go. You gotta put your shit down, put it off to the side. You get into the aid station, put it off to the side. Take this out, fill this up. Make sure it goes back into your pack in a way that's not gonna drive you absolutely insane. Fill these up. These I had the drink mix in and the Morton's 320s, and they were really helpful for a while. But eventually what happened was they started to clump up because if they don't completely dissolve in these, which they will if they do, but if you're not careful, like a couple times I probably had some leftovers in there, and then over the course of the race it just starts to build up. So it ended up just clumping up, and like I wasn't actually getting the fuel I thought I was getting, and so that started to be a kind of a pain in the ass. So you got to watch out for that if you're mixing drink mixes, spilling some of your electrolytes, stuff like that. But I ran the tube like up and under. I think that's actually like the legitimate way you're supposed to do it. I probably won't do it today just because it's not very quick to do like on a day-to-day. Usually people have it like just twisted around the top. There were a couple times where, depending on how I put it in the pack, like pulling that tube up and around, it was short. So I've seen people have like straws or longer tubes, or at least they get a little bit more slack. But there's a couple portions of the race where that was like super annoying. And at that point, you're not going to stop and adjust it. So knowing your pack inside and out, knowing where you're going to store things. I saw that on like other people recommending that, like having labeled pockets for certain things and stuff like that. But classic, I was just like, oh, I'm going to just go, I'll wing it. It will be no big deal. And then come to find out, I would come into aid stations or like crew stops and I'd be like, oh, can I have some more of those? And it's like they would be in my pocket and I just couldn't reach them or something like that. So definitely make sure you have a system for where things are, because at mile 70 plus, like you're not going to know where anything is. I think a lot of people, if not the majority of people training for ultras are doing way too much mileage, way too much weekly mileage, and they'd be way better off utilizing that time in the gym, strength training, doing plyometrics, and creating real adaptation in the gym rather than out on the road. So you're going to have a point of diminishing returns with just weekly mileage increasing. There's only so much stress that we can put on the body with running before it's going to break down, and your fatigue is going to outweigh your ability to adapt and recover from that. So for most normal people, running 70 plus mile weeks with everything else they have going on in their life, there's no way they're recovering and adapting at the rate that they think that mileage is worth. Again, I'm not saying they're not getting better, because you're going to have a bunch of people say, oh, I increased my weekly mileage and I had less pain running longer distances, my performance went up, all that jazz, which might be true, but is there a more efficient way? Could you have done that with half the amount of mileage and 2 to 3 days in the gym, where you're actually using means of loading that can progressively increase the stress adaptation? So there's only a few things you can really modify and manipulate with running. You have speed, pace, distance, time, which kind of all result in varying degrees of energy use, whether it's VO2 max, more glycolytic pathways, more aerobic zone 2 work, so you're increasing capillary density, mitochondria, all those good things, but you can do that with way less mileage than 70 miles per week. And you could even use different modalities than running. I guess the reason I'm taking such a stand on this is because I think running with that increased mileage, you're at an increased risk of injury. There's just a shitload of overuse injuries with running. And I think the time it takes to run that amount of weekly mileage, like I'm just doing the math for myself, or like say a runner doing 70 miles a week at a 10-minute pace, that's like 11 hours of running. It comes out to almost like an hour and a half a day. That's just like an insane amount of time. And I'm the first person to talk about the joys of training. Like, obviously the journey getting there is really better than the destination. So if you like loved slogging through 70 to 100 mile weeks, like I never tell anyone not to do something that they enjoy. I more so want to talk to the people that think they have to do something a certain way, or they saw their favorite ultra runner, hybrid athlete, influencer, what have you, doing this, so then they think they have to do it. So that's realistically like the hill that I stand on. It's not necessarily advice for maximizing performance and potential. I think you can really maintain general health, physical fitness, aesthetics, like everything that matters to you throughout the year, and sprinkling in like 1 or 2 of these longer distance races to get out of it what you want to get out of, without sacrificing a ton of health and fitness for it. Again, if you're someone that this is your thing, all you want to do is be an ultra runner, I'm probably not the best person to listen to for that. But if you're someone who likes a physical and mental challenge, they want to be challenged spiritually, mentally, physically, everything, all of the above, but you also want to just live somewhat of a normal life, be around your family, have time for work, have time to enjoy yourself on weekends and not go for 5-hour runs, um, and you want to look good doing it, this is probably a good place to start, because I share similar goals, similar beliefs, and I happen to have a pretty unique set of experiences and skills that allow me to kind of think on these things a little bit deeper, and hopefully simplify them for someone like you. So, all right, let's get into it. This is what I'm talking about with the freaking. Basically, that time. Sun feels incredibly hot, so this might not last as long as we anticipated here. So, also realizing you got to clean out these zippers because they get pretty sticky and they barely move on mine. So I'm probably gonna rip the zipper right off this pretty soon. So, gonna set up a trail run here and set off. Little protein bar start. Wow. Totally forgot about snakes. Definitely snake season. I'm gonna stay on these open roads so I can see one. I'm from New England, so all we had was garter snakes, non-venomous. So if you're from the south or familiar with snakes, then any tips for me would be nice. But let's get into it. Oh, yeah, it's these trails the skinny trails. I don't want to, I just don't know if one will pop out. So I gotta get to the bigger road here. One of my, or the longest trail run I had leading up to the race was 20 miles. And I did it from here. I got dropped off, ran all the way back home. And a lot of it was on this sandy stuff. And I actually had some lateral knee pain pop up. I was wearing new shoes, the shoes I wore for the race, but so I was a little bit nervous that would be an issue. But probably just a result of the TFL a little flared up and just the sand not as great for transferring force. So not great tendon training, but pretty good muscular training. So, all right, looks like we're getting to the road here. Just popped my sunglasses on, but normally I try to do my morning walks and runs without them on. Get that
morning sunlight exposure to the eyes, help the circadian rhythm. But today, it's pretty bright. So the same thing goes for strength training plyometrics. It's a lever we can pull and a tool we can use that's much more effective for creating that change. We can infinitely load our system, create mechanical tension, more muscle mass to become more resilient on game day, on race day. Because running at the end of the day is just the body withstanding force and impact and perturbations. So we're looking for strength, stability, power, elasticity in our tendons and ligaments. Okay, so why would I not use a tool that's just proven to be way more effective at doing that and minimizing fatigue and breakdown? So my risk of injury in training is even lower. So then I go into race day healthier and more ready to take on the challenges for that day. All right, vice versa, if you just ran with minimal strength training, and even if you are doing that mileage, there's no way you're actually moving the needle in the gym because you just physically would not be able to handle the stress it would take to adapt in the gym and that amount of mileage. So those are just kind of, I guess, more ramblings on why I quote unquote trained unconventionally for this. And honestly, if I'm totally mistaking the population and most people do this, please let me know. But from what I see, it's always endless miles, very minimal time in the gym, strength training. And when they are, it's just cute exercises that make people think they're moving the needle with little prehab, rehab exercises, banded walks, little glute exercises, nothing actually loaded, nothing creating mechanical tension, and nothing moving the needle. It's just all mind games to make ourselves think we're actually bringing up those problem areas. If you're an untrained person, sure, some of those will work for the time being, but after a few weeks, your body will adapt just like running, and you're gonna need more. So people usually get it when it comes to running. I need more distance, I need a faster pace, I need more time on feet. But when it comes to the gym, people just lose sight of stress adaptation, recover, response. So I had a lot for me, new followers after the Zion documentary, and really appreciate the support and people commenting. And it's funny to me because I just love this. Like, I love meeting people that feel this feeling that we get from fitness, health, doing hard things. Like, it's just in me. So when you feel that support, it really means a lot. But that being said, like, I don't know why people follow, or like what I can bring to the table or like help you. Like, my biggest goal is to be able to help people through my own experience, my knowledge, my time, working in strength and conditioning, sports performance, working with the military, high level athletes, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of people with that knowledge as well. I don't pretend to be the most knowledgeable strength coach in the world, but I do think that I've lived both worlds as like not a traditional sports athlete, but early on in CrossFit, I competed in CrossFit. So I'm not sure what people are looking for with my channel in particular, but I would love to hear any feedback on what might be helpful, so I can try to help as many people as I can, because that's realistically why I got into this field. And I've struggled a ton on my own, personally, mentally, just with health, fitness, nutrition, stuff like that. So I've really lived it. I think I know where a lot of people come from. And I know that it's not, we all can't be professional athletes and have our lives revolve around this. So my goal is to try to help make this the most efficient and effective, get your joy from it, allow the benefits to enable you to do what you love, live your life with your family, enjoy things, but also get after it and kind of try to blend science with reality and actual hard work. Because I think we're in a time of either all hard work and grind or just fluff, prehab, rehab exercises, things that don't move the needle. So I'm just trying to blend both, because I've truly been on and seen inside both worlds at a pretty elite level. So if anyone could let me know, comment or find me on Instagram in the description and send me a DM.